Thanks for tuning in for part 3 of the study sessions with Ivy Lee, and today's topic is heparin infusion or heparin drip calculation. So let's get right down to it. Alright guys, so today we're going to be talking about heparin drip calculation / bolus and the different therapies like titration and that. So I'm going to be periodically throwing in some slides as I talk about them. So just take a look at those, pause it if you want, do a screen capture, whatever you want to do. So we have a patient who weighs 145 pounds. And this patient had an MI, so the doctor has ordered 60 units of heparin per kilogram bolus with an hourly rate of 12 units per kilogram per hour. So your pharmacy provides heparin at 25,000 units per 250 mLs in a bag. So we're going to figure out, given these facts here, how many milliliters that we need to give the patient in a bolus, how many units, and how many milliliters that we need to give the patient for the bolus and the hourly rate. And then we're going to talk about titrating that up or down depending on the patient's PTT. So let's start. This is a weight-based calculation, so we need to change 145 pounds to kilograms. So we do 145 divided by 2.2, and our patient weighs, rounding up, it's 65.9 kilograms, but we're just going to round up to 66 because it's going to make things a lot easier to round up. So now we can immediately plug this in. So let's start with the bolus. 60 units times 66 kilograms equals 3960 units. Now we need to calculate the number of milliliters. So to do that, we will first need to calculate this out. You're going to divide 25,000 by 250 mLs. So what you get, in effect, is 100 units per ml. We're going to plug that in now. So the way we're going to plug that in is, this is our dose available. I'm sorry, this is our dose we're going to give, divided by our dose available. So what we get is so it's important that you write down your calculations. Heparin is one of the drugs that you don't want to get wrong. Getting this drug wrong kills people. So you can see here we've taken our bolus parameters here and we've divided by what our pharmacy has available, which is essentially 100 units per milliliter. So for every 1 milliliter of fluid in our bag, we're going to have 100 units of heparin. So once we divide that, we get 396 milliliter bolus. So now we're going to work on our hourly rate. And again, we're going to plug in our 66 there. So 12 times 66. is 792 units per hour. So again, we're going to have to divide to figure out our hourly rate to plug in our pump. This is one thing that also you don't want to be eyeballing. This needs to be on a pump as well as your insulin drip. So we're going to divide by 100. So we divide by 100 because that's what we have available in the pharmacy, and we get 7.92 milliliters per hour. So our patient is going to get 396 milliliter bolus containing 3,960 units, and then per hour after that they're going to get 792 units per hour, which calculates out to be 7.92 milliliters per hour. So that explains the initial calculation. And I'm going to put up a slide right now that shows, it's not necessarily common orders, parameters in the hospital. It's what we were given. It's pretty similar to what they have in a hospital, but it's not exactly the same. So you'll notice that on the slide you're seeing right now, there is a parameter that says that if you draw a PTT, you need to change the bolus, or you need to give a bolus if it's lower than a certain amount, or withhold it. So the one that I'm doing now is basically we're going to say that our patient, the same patient from before, had a PTT drawn, and it was 40. So if you'll notice on that slide, that PTT says that we need to give from here, we need to give a 25 unit per kilogram bolus now, and then increase the rate by 2 units per kilogram per hour to try to counteract that. So the 25 unit bolus, just the same as we did before. Patient still weighs 66 kilograms. So this is our bolus. We'll multiply these, we get 1650 units bolus, and they're going to get that now. If you'll remember, our heparin comes in units per milliliter. So we're going to give 16.5 milliliter bolus now. Now we're going to tackle the increase in hourly units. Okay, so you can see that we plugged in our new bolus rate with our amount of kilograms, and we got 1650 units. We divided that by 100 units per ml, which is how our pharmacy prepares this. And we got 16.5 milliliter bolus now. And now we're just going to do the same thing as we did before and plug in the new hourly rate into our equation. So you remember before we were at 12, we're going to increase that by 2, so we're up to 14 now. So we get a total of 924 units as our new rate. We're going to have to divide that by 100. units per ml. Forgive my nasty handwriting. So we're going to get 9.24 milliliters per hour as our hourly rate. So what we figured out here is that our patient is going to get a 16.5 milliliter bolus now that contains 1,650 units, and we're going to reset the pump to be 9.24 milliliters per hour as our hourly rate. And we figured out that based on the slide that you saw that gave the parameters for our PTT that we had drawn. So let's say we have another PTT drawn. And now it's 60. So you'll notice on that slide that under 60, under those parameters, it says do nothing. By do nothing, they mean keep this going as the hourly rate. So what you'll do is you'll keep your hourly rate going, and 6 hours later you're going to check another PTT. If it's fine, you're going to check it another 6 hours later, and you're going to continue to do that. So if it were higher than expected, you drop down based on the slide with the parameters on it. So instead of going from 12, you'd back down to 10 and you would withhold it, or you might withhold it or something like that. So check out that slide. I'll put it up here again with the parameters on it, and you guys can check that out. If you guys have any questions about heparin titration or calculations, leave it in the comment section down below, or if you guys have anything that you're interested in seeing me talk about, also leave those down below, and make sure you click like and subscribe. Thanks guys.